So, as you know, Patty, the whole locavore movement, as it's called, has certainly become a big deal over the past 10 years or so. It was kind of slow in the building process, but then over the last several years, it really seemed to pick up. And you can't go into a restaurant now where the menu doesn't just say,
local,
sourcing
local.
locally, almost to the point of ad nauseum where you're like, all right, I get it, but that does, even though you see it everywhere. That's because that's what people want. Consumers seem to want it. We want to know if that's what you want. If you're listening to the show right now, do you buy local? Do you buy organic? Which one's more important to you?
What's your priority?
What's your priority? Let us know. 805-545-0332. That's 805-545-0332 is the number to call if you want to sound off on buying local, buying organic. If you just think it's a big old trend and you don't care, let us know that too. But if it's important to you and you have some reasons why, or if one is far more important to you than the other, organic versus local, certainly numbers in this new study point to one of the two as being more important to consumers, but here in California, maybe we don't fit the national trend.
Right.
This was a national
study. National study.
So let us know what you think. 805-545-0332. Joining us on the line right now to talk a little bit more about a lot more about this study, actually. And the findings is Jans Ruehle with AT Kearney. That's the firm out of Chicago that put this together. And Jans joins us on the show right now. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Randall. Good morning, Patty.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. We're happy to have you here. Were the study's findings surprising to you at all?
Well, Randall, I think it's not as surprising. I mean, we've seen that many consumers are really looking for local grocery. They're interested in buying safe food, and local grocery is what they think they get when they buy those products.
Right.
And therefore, overall, I think the study results are pretty compelling there. I mean, we were able to show that people really want to buy local groceries, not only at the traditional distribution channels such as local farmer stores, but really also at national grocery chains.
And what would you say is the main reason that people are giving you as to why they choose to buy local? What is their big motivator?
We see that when people indicated they want to buy local, it's really coming from. We've seen a lot of food scandals, not only here in the U.S., also all over the world, and people are really looking to buy safe and good, healthy products, and that's the promise basically that a local can give you, or that people are associating with local products.
Because you're worried if it's coming from someplace far away, perhaps even another country, it could be contaminated with melamine or any number of things?
Exactly, and we've seen that from how people are associating trust to different producers. It's really that organic producers, if they are abroad, they are not consumers are not really attributing that high trust to those producers compared to local producers.
Oh, okay.
So distinction between them.
So local trumps organic when it comes to the trust factor.
That's right.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. And
what if you're a local organic producer?
Well, and that's right. I mean, there's overlaps definitely. So if you're producing local, you can do that organically, but you don't have to. I mean, just what people are associating with local foods is what the study found. Basically, the definition from a consumer perspective is anything that originates 100 miles around the retail store that you're buying it from. Mm-hmm. And therefore, people are accustomed to their farmers and really want to see that.
So is one of the drivers then for people making these decisions to support the local economy? Is that also one of the motivators?
Yeah, definitely. If you offer, as a retailer, if you offer local groceries at your store, you can positively differentiate yourself. And one of the factors that consumers attribute to that is to help out with the local economy. There's also sustainability aspects. I mean, local products don't need to travel as far, so people would say this is also something where it can help the environment. And therefore, those are positive attributes. And if you, as a retailer, offer those products, you will for sure get a better brand image. And therefore, it makes sense.
Jans, I'm wondering, sometimes local products can cost more than something that's manufactured overseas and comes in big bulk, items. And if you're buying local and artisanal and that sort of thing, it can cost more. Is that much of a deterrent?
Actually, the study indicates that 70% of the people indicated they're willing to pay more for it.
7 out of 10 people will pay more.
7 out of 10 indicated they would pay more for it. And I think, in a sense, if you buy from local farmers, they are definitely smaller, as you were pointing out. So it's more complex to offer that at your retailer of choice. And therefore, I mean, you have to charge a premium to get that variety in the shelves.
So for someone who is stocking store shelves then, are customers so adamant about this? Would they say, I will shop somewhere else where I know I can get my hands on local produce? Is that a factor where the shopper would actually go and inconvenience themselves to get what they want locally?
Yeah. We found that as much as 30% of the respondents indicated if they don't find local groceries at their retail of choice, they would actually consider switching stores and get their food somewhere else. And therefore, it's a clear differentiator. I mean, if you offer local products in the quality that is desired, then you can for sure attract additional consumers to your stores.
I believe that. Because there are times that I do. Well, I don't think everyone shops at just one store, right? And so you have a handful of stores that you go to. I have my sort of Whole Foods version, upscale kind of organic store. Then I have my Trader Joe's. Then I have my local supermarket that's just right down the street. And then
the big Costco excursion.
and then I can't not go to Costco. And as I was mentioning earlier in the show, I think Costco gets it on the whole local thing, because at the individual stores, they do bring in local products for, I imagine, just that reason. Are you finding that who most looks at this study that you put out? Who's your big
the audience
customer? Is it retailers? They want this information?
Yeah, I mean, we did the study to really understand what consumers are thinking about local groceries, and we know that a lot of national grocers are really putting those products in place. Some of them do it right, other ones still have something to do a little bit better. But for sure, it's a big trend in the industry, and therefore everybody's looking at that. And I mean, there's a couple of considerations you need to make when you offer those products. And therefore, I believe the big ones should for sure try to understand if they offer the best choice possible.
Sometimes these studies are really complex and take a while to process, and so the results aren't always, we could say, that fresh. But you did this study fairly recently, just in November, right?
That's right. We did a survey, and then it's really out of the consumer perspective. We did a survey with around 1,300 U.S. consumers all over the U.S., basically rural as well as in urban places. And then those are the results that you were just mentioning.
Right.
So they're new results. We are not talking about something that you put together more than a year ago. So I think that's important.
Right.
Important
we just
to.
did that. Mm-hmm.
I find it interesting, Jans, that regardless of income bracket, people were willing to pay more when it comes to local versus something produced overseas.
Right. There's a distinction there. So people with higher income would tend to buy more, or indicate that they would even spend more on that. However, also low-income families, for example, a majority of them indicated that they would feel inclined to buy local foods and spend a premium on that.
So the average was 7 out of 10, with it being even higher for higher income and a little bit lower for lower income.
Correct.
Interesting. Yeah. So in your study, you mentioned, you just mentioned a little bit about the trust factor. When it comes to different types of retailers, there is a different level of trust as well, correct?
That's right. Yeah.
And can you lay that out for us? Who gets the absolute most trust? Is that the farmers market?
Yeah, that's the farmers market. And Ruehle, you have to remember, if you go there, you probably are looking for a different shopping experience. You want to maybe do that on Sunday afternoon and then do that and enjoy that shopping trip. But nevertheless, as we found, I mean, shoppers are interested to then go to different formats as well, and the level of trust then basically goes down all the way. Like online grocers are the ones where people attribute the lowest level of trust to it.
Oh.
Potentially also because they don't really know that channel that much. But after that, big box retailers are also not performing that well as national supermarkets. Then those natural food markets, as you said, like Whole Foods, they have people really attribute more trust to them. But still, farmers market are really the place to go in terms of trust for those products.
Makes sense because you get to talk directly to the farmer. So that seems intuitive to think that would be the highest trust.
Absolutely.
Exactly, yeah.
Jans Ruehle with AT Kearney in Chicago. I very much appreciate the study and appreciate you being on the show and going through the numbers with us.
Sure. You're very welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Make it a great Sunday, Jans. And you are listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. I'm your host, Randall White. That was Patty Pyburn throwing out some of the questions there. And we are back in just a moment.